As human beings, we have a lot of creativity, imagination, and the scientific bent of mind that we are constantly creating newer and newer things. The invention of photography is indeed a boon to humankind, and we have seen the different types of cameras and their progression through a passage of time. Let's look at some more cameras and how they have contributed to the development of photography.
So now we'll look at an SLR camera. This is one of the first SLRs that came in the early 1960s. So this is also a camera that kind of came as rivals for Leicas. So here, as I said, so you have a lens, you have a viewfinder, and you had a body where you put in a 35 mm roll film, which unlike the medium format cameras that took only 12 exposures, in a 35 mm film one could take up to 36 exposures. So I will briefly explain you the parts of it. So you had the lens, and for the first time with all the cameras we have seen so far, with the exception of the view camera where the lens could be changed, for the first time you get an option to change the lens. So this lens could be changed. You could adapt it with a wide angle lens or a telephoto lens or a lens of your choice. So here, if you could see it, you have the lens, and then you have a mirror that is standing right behind the lens, which basically diverted the subject, the light coming in, to your viewfinder, which you saw here. So at the moment of taking a picture, this mirror flipped and it allowed the light to fall into the film that is at the rear. Additionally, there was this shutter mechanism right before the film, which opened right at the moment when you press the trigger to allow the light to be recorded on the film. So the SLRs perhaps was the first mass market camera, one could say. They were sold in millions. There were so many different brands, each competing with each other, and right from photojournalists, advertising photographers, enthusiasts, common people, everybody started using it at some point or the other. And now, as you know, it is very common to see a camera these days, a SLR these days, which people are using for a variety of reasons. Instead of a user inserting a film into this camera, camera manufacturers placed a digital sensor where the film exactly sat. So essentially the mechanism remained the same, but the image was getting recorded on the image sensor. So that primarily is the difference between an SLR and a DSLR. A single lens reflex camera becomes a digital single lens reflex camera, as simple as that. So the next progression is the same camera, the same format, and everything was the same, but much more electronics came in, much more features came in to help the user to make the experience of photography much simpler. Whether you are a professional or a beginner, it didn't matter. It gave all the versatility for a professional to control their picture. At the same time, it gave certain modes like the program mode for the beginners. All they had to do was frame the subject and press the button to take a picture. The rest was in a program mode, everything else was controlled by the camera and provided a nice looking picture. So from the digital SLR, there is an offshoot that has come up primarily in view of reducing the size, which is called a mirrorless camera. A mirrorless camera is essentially an SLR camera in some sense, it looks the same, but just that there is no reflex there. What I mean by no reflex is there is no mirror to reflect the image that is seen through the lens, got reflected and came to your viewfinder. In a mirrorless camera, what happened was there is no mirror. Instead, immediately behind the lens there was this image sensor, and the image sensor was pretty much always on, which gave the readout to an electronic viewfinder. A DSLR and a mirrorless are pretty much similar in many ways, but the crucial difference is the mirror is lacking. So, I will show it to you now. So, as you remove a lens, the lens comes off, and then you have the sensor directly here. Instead of a film, there is a sensor here, and you can notice that there is no mirror that reflected, like in the SLRs, that reflected the image to the viewfinder. Here, what comes in through the lens falls on the sensor and directly translated into a electronic viewfinder. And like in SLR, you have many different lenses. You can choose your lens from ultra wide to super telephoto lenses. You pick your lens and just put them in. And of course, with improving technologies, the megapixels of these sensors are improving by the day. The algorithms that control the cameras are improving. Artificial intelligence is coming into it. It gives it looks at the lighting conditions or the scenic conditions, and in fact recommends the user to set an appropriate setting or to leave everything to the camera itself to make a very pleasing, beautiful looking pictures. So, this is how technology has moved on, as we have seen from the view camera to the medium format cameras. From the medium camera format cameras, for better user experience, we went into TLRs. From TLRs, we went to SLRs. From SLRs, we went to DSLRs. From DSLRs, we are now on mirrorless cameras. So, now mirrorless cameras are not about only 35mm cameras. Just like we had a medium format camera, there are also digital cameras in medium format. So, the digital camera world is also not without diversity. So, in the SLRs, we largely saw most SLRs are 35mm cameras. Of course, there were some exceptions. Likewise, in the digital camera world, you have a full frame. What is called as a full frame is basically a 35mm format. Then you have a cropped sensor format, which is called an APS-C sensor, which gives a 1.5 times a crop. Then you have micro four thirds, which has an even smaller sensor. All these things are an interesting ecosystem of digital formats, but then it is not only smaller sizes. Like the medium format cameras, there are also medium format sized digital sensors, which is largely used by advertising photography people. So, of course, the cost is much higher, whereas on the other hand, if you look at the APS-C sensors and the micro four thirds, they are more oriented towards consumers, and not just the micro four thirds and the APS-C, it also applies to DSLRs. They're all manufacturers are competing to capture a market, and they are coming up with so many different products and new models with better features to make photography easier for consumers. So, as we have seen, we have come a long way, and what would be in future is a big interesting question. There are also some talks, unsubstantiated talks about, now we still have these lenses which are long. Okay, newer technologies would come with types of lens which are much more compact, which the lens could kind of sit within a membrane which could expand and contract depending on the situation. So, that would make the entire setup much smaller. But of course, these are speculations, these are ideas still on the drawing board, but who knows, they may be a reality very soon. Also, the sizes of cameras, as you know, are also becoming very smaller, meant for different applications. You would have seen certain cameras which are called sports cameras, which are focus free, which you could kind of fit it to any of your equipment or your motorcycle or your cycle or your car to record the actions that are happening in front of it. There you do not have to worry about anything. No need to fix a focus because the focus is already fixed. No need to set an exposure because it is always on an auto mode and it adjusts according to the exposure, the light level that is there in front of it. So, technology is improving, different types of cameras are coming in, they are all oriented towards a certain application. So, people have many choices these days. So, that is one good thing about technology, and as we said, the future one will have to wait and see. Certainly there are much more interesting things to come. As you can see, technology is bringing in unimaginable new features into photography. The cameras are becoming lighter, smaller and affordable to use. At the same time, an interesting point to note here is right from the view camera we saw and all the cameras in between we saw, there is one thing that has never changed and it will never change also, which is the laws of physics. For example, the light, given the light you need a certain exposure, given the light you need a certain type of lens that needs to focus the image onto your plane, in this case a digital plane or a film plane. So, those things would never change. So, it is the laws of physics are same, but technology is making it much and more easier for people to not, even if you do not have an understanding about it, you could still come out with a good picture. By making a good picture, it is not always a pretty picture, it is also about precious pictures, because for somebody who wants to record an intimate moment or a crucial moment or a moment that they would love to cherish for years of their family members, of their own times or moments in life, technology is not only recording an important moment in your life easier, but also it is making easier to share those moments with others. For example, this mirrorless camera I have in my hand has a Wi-Fi connection which connects to my cell phone and through which I could transfer the pictures I had just taken with this camera to my cell phone, and if I have connectivity I can immediately share it with my friends and families. So, if I am in a remote place where there is no connection, I could still transfer it using Wi-Fi between the camera and the cell phone, and the moment I reach a place where there is connectivity, it is transmitted to friends. It is not only for fun, but also with respect to photojournalism. This is a very useful tool, because oftentimes photojournalists would travel to far and wide places, or if you are a news photographer, you are out there where the action is happening while your editor is sitting in the office. And earlier on, me having worked as a photojournalist during the film days, we would shoot the event, run back to the office, give the film to the lab, where the lab technician quickly processed it, brought it back to the table of the photojournalist, who made the first level of editing, then it was sent to the editor, who made a quick decision on which exact picture would be printed, and then it went on. By this time, definitely a couple of hours have passed, but today we do not have to wait for that long. You take a picture, immediately it can be transmitted through Wi-Fi to your cell phone or your laptop, and then within a few seconds it is there in front of your editor. So, from a photojournalism point of view also, technology has remarkably changed the landscape.
We have seen how, with the advancement of technology, newer and newer cameras were introduced, and they evolved as people wanted better solutions to take photographs. As technology has advanced, a camera has replaced a previous model or a previous type of camera, but essentially the principles and the law of physics have been retained, and they will remain a constant. Cameras have evolved, but people continue to have a need to photograph the moment and share it with others, because we are human. In this journey of learning about photography and becoming a photojournalist, it's important to respect all the people who have contributed to the development of photography, because without their contribution, the people at that time, at that point in history, would not have had the equipment, the device, the camera to record the moment. The particular camera that was introduced, at that time it was perfect and was suitable and appropriate for the people. As time went by, with better technology, the cameras became more sophisticated, more smarter, and more better. Today, you have a mobile camera, a camera on your smartphone, which is portable, which is mobile, and with a rear camera in which you can also take a selfie. So, knowing cameras and understanding them can help us to also know that the future is unknown. We do not know that what is going to be the next kind of camera that's going to emerge tomorrow. Its size, its quality, its features, and its possibilities. But what we do know is that human beings and the human mind is capable of creativity, is capable of the scientific temper, and of constantly evolving and finding better and better solutions. We hope that we will find and we will use more kinds and more types of cameras in the future.